We actually used Ira to capture the image and describe it to us. And that was really empowering to me as an artist. So it's the first time I've ever been able to use something that we did as an album art picture.
Please welcome Tony Gebhard.
I don't like to sometimes have to feel that force, like, oh my gosh, do I have to go advocate like 10 times harder today again? It's tiring. And we're a smaller community here in Alaska, so we see a lot of reoccurring appearances with our students, which is super, super cool. You know, if they're coming back, we're doing the right thing.
Assistive technology specialist, transition program coordinator, and all-around musician.
As a tech teacher, I've wanted to start launching my own independent contract work, so I've got a resources link, tonygebhard.com/resources.
All the music that you'll be hearing is from Tony Gebhard, and he's just dropped his latest album. Actually, this year he's dropped 2 albums, so be sure to go check him out. TonyGebhard.com. That's TonyGebhard.com. Check it out. All right, let's get on with the show. Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson, and we got a returning guest here. I'm proud to have him on here. I really like his music. I like what he does in life. It's Tony Gebhard. Tony from Anchorage, Alaska. Welcome to Blind Abilities.
It feels so good to be back again. As always, it's a privilege, and I like how we talk 20 minutes before we start recording, too.
Yeah, we're almost done, folks.
I know we're already almost done.
But there's so much new stuff coming out. You got your new album just dropped, Guided?
Yeah, two new records, believe it or not, yeah.
Two new records. Well, that's why we have you on, Tony, to find out more about Tony Gebhard.
Yes, it's been busy, and there's so much to really talk about since we last chatted in February of 21. But first of all, thanks a lot for having me on, and I guess we'll start with that, music. So when we last left off, I had just started production and writing for Soldier, which is out now, released on January 7th of this year, 2022. And I spent a lot more time on it than I had assumed I would, which I was happy about because I needed time to process so many things that were going on. I officially moved to Anchorage, Alaska, and got settled in, and finally going full-time with my position here at the Center for the Blind in Anchorage, which has been probably just the most professionally impactful endeavor for me, not only just as a blind person, but as somebody who needed to be thrusted in a rehabilitation environment. For my own sanities, just based on what I've been through in my past, but to see the light of other individuals and what they've been through, because now I'm a part of their story. Now I'm a stepping stone in where they're going for individuals coming in for technology training or for the youth programs that I am putting together twice a year for our students that are 14 to 22 in the state of Alaska. So what have I learned? It just keeps going, but I've learned that patience is such an essential piece in this, as well as empathy. Because I remember the program we did last year was tenacity, advocacy, perseverance, and empathy, right? Mm-hmm. And that still continues to be an emphasis on our programs and what we're doing. I'm really excited. There's so much to say, but I'll let you ask the question.
That's right. You had the acronym TAPE. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, tape it on.
I listen to Blind Village once in a while, too.
You're funny.
You made a comment of don't stop growing. You put up these little videos and stuff, and you can follow him on Facebook. And we'll put some links in here where you can follow Tony, find his music, find everything. There's lots of stuff to cover, folks. That's why we got to bring him on every year, because we got a full show every time. One of the things you said, don't stop growing. And I think that comes from, you're doing a part-time job now with Tech Vision. You're taking on more, not only dropping albums, 2 so far this year, and working you got 2 titles and now you're looking at growing some more. Explain that.
I am. Yeah. So I'm engaged. Let's just first get that one out of the bag. And she is.
Listeners, he's gone.
I am engaged, and I love her very, very much. She was the biggest addition in my life and will continue to always be. And she works in a very similar field that I do. However, she's in accessibility. She's the introvert to my extrovert personality. So we definitely balance one another out in that. But yeah, we'll talk about tech vision. So I got the contract, actually, funny enough, today when you brought that up. Some precursors here. The last few months I've really dove deep into the idea that I personally don't want to become complacent in my walk in life. And, everybody has their own perspective of what growth means. And I acknowledge that and recognize that. If that means taking 100 more steps a day for a workout, or working 30 more minutes after the clock, or heck, getting out of bed because depression is a real monster. I totally get it. And go you, right? With that in mind, for me, I wanted to go further in professional development because I want to work with kids. I also want to be more keen to behavioral health. Being someone of a mental health history and coping with anxiety every day, I want to be able to reach out into these K-12 schools, but also into college and these different environments to be not only just a useful and valuable tool and asset, but just a person that can be there to listen, a person that can be there to show them the technology that they were unaware of prior so that they can be successful. But I realized I needed to do more, and it's not out of need more so than it's a mixture of want and need, because I want to be challenged. And I think for what it's worth, we need to pursue that desire of want for our own growth, right? Sometimes we're in limbo, and there might be a situation where it's like, gosh, I just lost a job, and it's only been a week, and I just need time to transition through and put myself in the right mindset. Totally understandable. We need to give ourselves an opportunity to respond, not react. The big thing is, if you stub your toe, you might scream the F word, but if you stub your toe and it starts to hurt, you might want to be weary, like, oh shoot, is there people around? Should I not scream the F word? And this is a real example, folks.
You mean fudge, right?
Fudge, yes. Yeah, chocolate fudge. There you go. I'll give you an example. So, slight tangent. I was at work earlier this week with my fiance because we work together and it's awesome. And I was letting her inside from the back deck area of our building, and I happened to smash my middle finger on the doorknob, between the doorknob and the deck. And there were people inside, like maybe 10 feet away. I wanted so badly to scream every obscenity in the English language that I could think of. It hurt so bad. And my fingernail still today from this past Tuesday is still sore.
Did you get that throbbing thing?
Oh yeah, big time. I had to put ice on it because I had to go to a meeting in 20 minutes. So I had to put ice on it, and I was trying to keep myself together while talking about clients and giving a case review and stuff like that. I was like, oh God, this is terrible.
That's part of your work, working with transition students, assistive technology. Yeah. What is a day in your life when you're dealing with the transition program?
A day, oh man, it changes a lot, but I'll tell you the generality is I usually get to work early during our youth programs so that I can do setup and prep with the staff and make sure everybody's where they need to be and what they need to do. There might be a thing that needs to get tightened up here and there. It's like, do we have snacks up there right now? Okay, so-and-so, can we get snacks over there? Does so-and-so have a Braille copy yet? Okay, I'll hang out with the kids a little bit, like our past spring program here, which was awesome. We had 2 students fly down from Fairbanks to Anchorage to attend, which was super cool and groovy. And I hung out with them most times prior to the program because we start at 9 a.m. And some students, depending on their proximity to the center, will stay at the center because we have a residential dormitory area, which is really cool. So, we'll hang out with them, have breakfast, maybe play a little guitar if they're musically inclined. Just a lot of camaraderie, which I think is the best part about it. There's structure and formality where it's needed, and then the other percentile that's remaining is just having a good time and having fun.
So coordinating all that, plus you do assistive technology.
I do. It's stressful. It is stressful. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
I taught woodworking, and what I find is...
Nice.
Plus, I go to Enchanted Hills out there for the San Francisco Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired. When you have students, it's not all about making sure they get taught the curriculum perfectly and all that stuff. It's about finding their drive, finding what makes them go, or maybe they don't have a drive yet or something, but you meet them. There is no manual for all the students. Every student, it's their own manual that you'll have to kind of develop and work out and hopefully graduate them up the scale a little bit here for graduation.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And you nailed it right on the head. I think that each group of students, and we're a smaller community here in Alaska, so we see a lot of reoccurring appearances with our students, which is super, super cool. If they're coming back, we're doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. It's all individualism and on a micro scale of, having such a small niche group of students who are vastly different in their visual acuity and also, behavioral health and cognitive abilities creates a very challenging but also enlightening opportunity for us to make it so that each student has that connectivity. The whole environment, to me, it's rewarding because it keeps a professional like me in this position, and along with the amazing staff that I work with and who work with me, it makes it so much more valuable. It really does.
When you graduated from World Services for the Blind, did you imagine it to be like this?
It's a yes and no. Just putting my first program together was difficult, but I feel like it was easy in certain realms because we were all virtual, all hybrid, being that, COVID still had a pretty significant grasp in the U.S. and the education system. So the first time that I put together a program that actually had, attendance, a schedule, a budget for food and everything was the summer program for 2021. And the lessons I learned was don't wait till the last second for certain things and knock them out as fast as you can. Also, don't do them by yourself, because I have no issue with admitting that one of my weaknesses is I will become possessive of my job task and take ownership of it without asking for help, knowing that I need to ask for help and that it's okay to ask for help. Right. And that's something I've always struggled with, that I've continued to identify as an area that can use improvement for me.
That explains why you play every instrument and vocal on your albums, too.
Yeah, it does.
If someone's interested in becoming an assistive technology specialist, go into that field. You went to World Services for the Blind.
I did. Yep.
I see them on Facebook. I see them posting stuff. They're talking about their CEO and all that, and they talk really highly about her. It's a lot of positive stuff. Can you explain it to the listeners?
Yeah, sure. So, I have not been on campus, so I cannot say a single word about their on-campus programs and environment.
Well, the pandemic, yeah.
But I'm sure that it's fantastic. But I've made some wonderful professional friends and a couple of personal friends out of that program, and it's intense. It's very structured, and a lot of things are put into your responsibility. I can't stress this enough for AT specialists that are coming up, because what I learned a lot of the time is people don't know how to improvise. And it comes down to, everybody wants guidance, which is okay. That's a good thing, right? We need guidance. We want an assignment. Sometimes, though, there's a freckle of that where we need to develop a strong core value of improv, because let's be honest, AT is a very niche market. And with the research and development and tons of screen readers that are out there right now, most only know how to use tab and shift tab and use their arrows, right? Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people realize that there is a link list that you can pull up with JAWS on Google Chrome where it'll show you all the links. Or somebody might not understand that you can change the word scheme of JAWS, where when you're reading in a Microsoft Word document, you can have JAWS announce to you the size of the font, the color of the font as you're reading it. There's so many different things that people may not know about, and it's important that when you go into this field to know these things or to do your research. I kind of segued off a little bit. With World Services, I had a great instructor. He does not work there anymore, unfortunately, but he was awesome. Definitely put me in this position where, it was black or white. It was like, are you doing good or are you not doing good? And that kind of feedback is great for me personally. Mm-hmm. And I had the privilege to work with 4 to 5 different people every week with an agency that they're partnered with, Computers for the Blind down in Texas. Some folks may know who they are from getting machines from them, a really great refurbishing center down there as well. And we are tasked to reach out to those individuals. We're assigned a specific number of clients and their names. And your responsibility as that specialist is to coordinate with them times and days to meet weekly. And then you have to make a folder hierarchy of reports, of case managements for weeks or months, create lesson plans, conduct assessments to see and evaluate what their current knowledge of assistive technology is. And a lot of these materials are provided to you. And there's webinars, there's lessons, there's classes during the WSB certification where you can learn about what this looks like. Also, tracking. You need to track your hours. Excel, Google Sheets, those types of programs. You need to know how to use those. And if you don't right away, find the help. Because these are business popular programs that 99% of the business world is going to be using. And there's a lot of blind people who are avid Mac advocates, as am I might add. I love Apple. I think we need to assess that we can't use the excuse JAWS is expensive, so I'm not going to use it. There are resources out there, right, to be able to get that. For example, Freedom Scientific has a really great subscription service where you can have JAWS for $95, a full professional license that you can install on 3 computers, mind you, for $95 a year.
That's really changed the game.
It really has. It encouraged me to get JAWS because I wasn't going to pay $1,500 for it. I didn't have that, right? Mm-hmm. And that's reasonable, and I acknowledge that because a lot of the time we're living on Social Security incomes or very, very small jobs.
NVDA.
And it's hard. Yeah. And you know what? I'm an advocate for NVDA too because here's the thing, troubleshooting. If one thing doesn't work, try it out with something else.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm being hardcore right now.
No. You need stuff in your back pocket because it's you. It's on you.
Right, it's on you.
You're at a job. I've always told people, if you're going into the job market, I would say, I make this number up, but I don't think I'm that far off. 95% of the companies are using some type of Microsoft database system.
Yes, that's correct.
In the business world and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You walk into them. You're not going to be able to walk in with a Braille note and plug it in to their database. You're going to have to learn some PC, some JAWS. It's just a tool.
It's tools. Yeah. No one says they have to be your best friend in the whole world, but stubborn, and I feel like I may get some flack for this on saying this, but the reality is in our situation, Jeff, and I use this advocacy as a voice to help influence, but to also remind everybody that we're judged every single day, as is. We as blind individuals already have to face scrutiny within the public eye for devaluing what it means to be blind. And we have that responsibility because when we get into the job market, I don't like to sometimes have to feel that force like, oh my gosh, do I have to go advocate like 10 times harder today again? Because it's tiring. It really is. I'm sure so many people can agree with this that we didn't ask for that. But you know what? We deserve to live independent lives just like everybody else does. And in order to do that, the truth is we can't expect somebody else to bestow that upon us. We have to be the ones to infiltrate it first.
I've always used this saying, Hawthorne wrote a book in a scarlet letter, and it was the letter A, but we wear the scarlet letter B. We walk around town, public, and all that stuff, and people see us, and we're labeled. We're marked.
That's good. Yeah, that's right. We're marked. That cane and that guide dog, it lets everybody know that we're visually impaired. That's right.
You're getting a puppy, I heard.
We are getting a puppy. We were in the market for a little while and looking at different rescues, and we had been corresponding with Best Friend Animal Rescue here in Anchorage about acquiring a dog and training this animal and, just having a house pet.
I love the name you came up with.
Yeah, Kenai. That's right. Yeah. We decided to call him Kenai after the Kenai Peninsula here in Alaska, and he's beautiful. He's a German Shepherd Lab mix, and he's a little over 13 weeks old.
I took it a different way, a keen eye, like the dog is sighted,
That's cute. I like that. That's a cool perspective, the keen eye. I like that.
When your latest album, Guided, came down, I sifted through it. I wanted to see what you were doing. The first song I was listening to, then the second song came on, Charge Before You Leave.
Yeah.
Is that a takeoff, like Pay Before You Leave or something? Charge Before You Leave.
It's a take on like, charge your phone before you leave.
Ah.
That's a weird one.
Just take everything that I wanted and throw it all away. Just throw it all away. Just let me fall apart again.
I was listening to the music, the guitar and stuff, and it reminded me of having a mix of your old stuff, It's like, I was wondering where you're going to go with this, because song number 9, You Are Amazing, it's a different style, Even
it is.
At the end, you got the whirly going a little bit, I believe.
Yeah.
Guitar, it has that 70 throwback sound going on, but in the beginning, I think it's to your fiance. Just a guess.
Yeah.
Just a guess.
Yeah. It sure is. I wrote that song for her.
Said I do. Yeah.
I blushed a little bit. Yeah, I did write that song for her. And the whole, gosh, I got so many comments about this. It's like, you're releasing another one? And I don't know. It just comes. It just comes.
Don't stop growing.
No, you don't stop growing.
You are amazing, it's true. Your smile, your dress, they always light up the room. A candlelight dinner.
Let me describe this to you. So TonyGebhard.com/the-music. You'll be able to find the streaming links for the album. And Guided, I'll tell you about the artwork really quick. So my fiance and I, we were in Girdwood, Alaska about a month ago, and we were with a good friend of mine. He was at work, so we decided to go on a walk. And let me tell you a little bit about Girdwood. It's a beautiful town, population 2,500, ski resort. Dogs are usually running around everywhere. It's a very, very hippie-esque town. A lot of festivals, a lot of camping, a lot of hippies. And there's this creek. And mind you, there's mountains all around you. You are surrounded by mountains because Girdwood is in a valley. We walked down one of the main roads in Girdwood, Alaska Avenue, and walked across Glacier Creek Bridge. And it's right above, you guessed it, Glacier Creek. And Glacier Creek, there's a view that goes off into the distance where it faces the Chugach Mountains. And it's absolutely fascinating and beautiful. We actually used Ira to capture the image and describe it to us. And that was really empowering to me as an artist, for both her and I as photographers, because Ira has, and a big shout out to him too, just for being such a powerful tool and advocate in the blind community.
Oh, yeah.
They gave us that freedom, helped us find that freedom to do something like this. And this is also the first time I've ever taken a picture by myself with a tool, and Nat and I talked about it. I was like, oh, we should use this for the album. And I said, oh my gosh, yeah. So it's the first time I've ever been able to use something that we did as an album art picture. That, to me, was one of the most fundamental stepping stones I've ever taken with my own work. Just to give you an idea, and you can find the album art description on the site, TonyGebhard.com/the-music, and it's a creek that goes down out into the distance, separated by mountains and rocky banks. The sky is a light blue with patches of gray, white clouds. It's a very, very Alaska imagery. And the word guided is written at the bottom, upside down, mind you, to give the perspective that you can turn it, and it'll have a different perspective each time. And then my name's at the top, by the mountains, Tony Gebhard. And I called it Guided because I felt like my life has been guiding me so many new places that and I'm getting a guide dog next year. So that just throwing that as a little token, but I feel like Alaska has guided me for so many years. And I never thought a place like this, some people think, oh my gosh, you'd be in Chicago or LA or New York or something like that with your kind of personality, blah, blah, blah. But no, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be lost in the sea of faces. I want to be in a place where I can feel like I'm making a true difference. And that's what Alaska does.
Yeah, guided. I really like that title word, like the different perspectives that you can have from it. Like, you're teaching assistive technology to so many people, guiding them so they can reach their independence. And now on the album, you independently took that picture with the help of Ira, of course, but that's a service for you to, what am I looking at? What is it? Take the pictures. Yeah. They can even describe it and send it to you with the description. And
oh, yeah.
You're right. It is a great service, and you're doing a great job up there. From Grand Rapids, Michigan to wherever you thought you may be, you're doing it up there. And it's really neat to hear this. You've been on a couple other times in this journey that you've been on, and now to hear your success and what you're doing and your happiness. Yeah. You're happy.
I am. And I've never thought I would be. And that right there is the icing on the cake, to kind of share a word of wisdom from a real place of brokenness at one point in time. As cliche as it may seem, hear me out. The storm does pass. Rain eventually has to wear itself out. A cloud will dissipate, and materialize into thin air. And we have to remember that these moments are not to deteriorate us, but they're to strengthen us. And it is up to us in those moments how we want that story to look on the other side. You know, because at one point in time I was getting drunk every day and high, and I one point in time attempted to take my life. And that was a very traumatic part of my life that I don't ever want to repeat and don't wish anyone to repeat or to experience. But we have to move forward. There's a continuum, right? One of my favorite quotes in the whole world, and it's from from a band named As I Lay Dying. They're a metal band. One of their song titles and their lyrics is, "The only constant is change." And I've thought that has stuck with me for a very long time. And I keep that very close to me, knowing that, okay, whatever pain we're going through now, it will change and it will get better and we'll find ourselves in a much better place. And, you know, I'm a believer in God. Some of you may not be, and that's totally okay. And if some that are, right, we have to pray about that. Or we have to talk to our friends. Maybe find a mentor, right? Where's my mentors? That's the most important thing to me is I don't like to make any big decisions unless I talk to my fiance first. And then I go to my mentors at work or those that I've admired because I want the perspective. I want to know that the decisions that I make now are the right ones. Because before I didn't bat an eye, no pun intended, to know whether it was going to be the right one or not.
If someone asked me, how's Tony doing? I said, just check out his last album. You could read between the lines. How's he doing? I was really wanting to listen to this one, see what kind of music. And there's something different on this one. You have this introduction. It has kind of I would say, kind of a Disney Oriental xylophone tapping. Ding, 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 ding. You know,
Bumba.
Yeah, Bumba. Yeah.
Yeah.
but some of the other songs, that very beginning kind of leads out with a little bit of that, and then it all builds.
Yeah.
I was curious. I haven't heard that too much before from you.
I've gotten really intrigued with certain pop music. Camila Cabello, Ed Sheeran, Jack Johnson, a lot of your singer-songwriters. I love them. Super smart, intelligent, stay very, very, honed into their craft and are creative, mind you. I wanted to try tapping into a certain part of that for me. Admittingly, I love how you bring it. How's Tony doing? No, just read the lyrics off his last album and you'll find out. I'm very notorious for writing dark songs, but I know from experience that, sometimes having one dark song for every two happy ones has been a new balance. To answer your question right on, I wanted to try something modern and step away from metalcore. And that's, to hint out there to people who really love the heavier stuff. Don't worry, I've already have 2 different new concepts in the planning for the next year and a half. So there'll be some more aggressive stuff. But I wanted to try something that's modern, that sounds poppy a little bit, that still has the hard rock in it, and just try to focus on vocals a little more, actually, to tell you the truth, because Soldier was guitar heavy. And this one is more focused on the vocal melodies and trying some funk, going back to some more soul. I feel like, because in some ways, I feel like I'm going to, regret this, but some metal's boring sometimes. So like, I want to keep the metal and hard rock as roots because they're who I am. They're my personality. But then try something that's out of my realm, like Bumba, because I messed with that reggaeton beat, boom, ticka, boom, boom, ticka, boom, boom, ticka, boom, boom. And it was fun. It was so much fun. I showed it to my fiance. She's like, wow, this is really good. And I'm like, you think so? And like, I wanted to try it. And I wrote a catchy melody for it. Follow the leader. We're taking back the life that we once knew. And I've never written a melody like that before. because it's usually screaming, rah, 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 or doing a vocal melody it's just kind of generic or, very inspired. And I'm not going to downplay my musicianship or skills because, I know what I do is based on a lot of the hard work that I've put into it.
But your life keeps changing. You
It
talk
does.
about changing is the most constant thing that's happening.
Yeah, right.
In Already There, you kind of balance between two different sounds.
All I need now, be alright. Since we started drumming, not sure where we're going, but that's alright, that's alright. Heart is beating faster, screams are getting louder. We're having a good time tonight. You make me smile, you make me cry, you make me feel like I'm alive. I said it before, so
Lori likes that one. We were
Nice.
just skimming through it today, and she says, you should be a Broadway singer. And I cocked my head, and I thought, wait, let me play another one. Hold on.
Right. Just show her Vicious. Oh, Father, forgive me. She'll change her mind real quick.
No, but you do have quite a range. You got
Thank you.
quite the talent. Your music. Yeah, what I meant by just read between the lines or read the line, see how he's doing it, stuff like that. It's like you can really give a pulse, like this one with that bamba and with the other stuff in here, even the song number 9. You're amazing. I remember you playing piano, showing some stuff, and in the earlier days, but this one has a lot of your talents, your drums in the second song, Charge Before You Leave, or the other songs in there. There's a mix of it. Even in You Are Amazing, you can hear that voice ready to come out, just on the edge, just a man.
Yeah. I'm not a saint. I'm just a man.
I'm just a man. I've made a few mistakes that I'm sure. I'm not afraid.
That's really what this album is about, Jeff. I feel like I was selfish and a know-it-all for my first 2 records. And now it's like, after being beaten down in life and coming back up stronger than I've ever been, I'm just here to say that I'm just a man now. I've made a few mistakes, that I'm sure of. Because I'm not here to gloat or be, some kind of superstar. I gave up on that. That life wasn't for me anymore. Now it's all about trying to be an advocate and a team player. Not everybody's going to like me, and that's cool. See, I think that's really what made me happy after a while, was accepting the fact that not everybody's going to love who I am. So I left that life. And that's how I met Natalia, my fiance. That's how I met her, was just, embracing.
When you asked that question and she had that glow, right?
Oh, yeah.
Those are words almost straight from the song. I heard that part and I was thinking, oh, this is a love song. This is a story. This is what happened in Anchorage, Alaska. This album is right fresh. It's where you're at. That's what I really meant by checking out how Tony's doing. So people check out Guided, and we'll put the links in the show notes.
Yeah, that would be great. I finally got my website back up. I do want to make mention to that. And, TonyGebhard.com is finally fresh up and redesigned and completely revamped from where it was 4 years ago. And a couple of things. I've got a contact page up there, of course, and I'm going to be launching a new program in the next year. I can't give too many details about it until for sure, but I am certifying as a life coach. I'm going to have a new program launched within a year regarding that. And then I've got a music page up there where you can find all the music. There's links everywhere to every album, along with alternative text for every album art image that's there. If you want to get a picture, an idea what that album is about, I've got basically an EPK, electronic press kit. I've got all the interviews up there. This one will go up there too. News articles and just fun little things that I'm doing and things that I've been involved in. I do daily blogs. At least I try to do daily blogs. I do 3 to 4 a week. So and record little videos. I've got a video bio up there if you want to know more about me and my intimate life, as well as a resources page. I just started doing this because as a tech teacher, I've wanted to start launching my own independent contract work. So I've got a resources link, TonyGebhard.com/resources. And there you can find dozens and dozens of tutorials and walkthroughs of things surrounding JAWS and Microsoft Office and Google Suite, as well as some of the things that I listen to. There's a page up there called Soundtracks for the Soul under the parent of resources. And there you can find meditation tracks, some fun yoga things, and different stations that you can find from across the world, like with Apple Music or Amazon Music, wherever you get your tunes. So those are resources to share. I also have affirmations up there as well, an affirmations page that I will add to every week. And it has different positive quotes that you can read aloud to yourself or read with a friend or something you can share on social media. And these are just healthy for the mental health. According to Kaiser Permanente, it's important for us to practice meditation or affirmations, and it helps us to become more centered with ourselves and happy in our daily lives. So that's something that I'm a big advocate for. So those are there too.
Tony, I'm just so glad to watch you grow, as you said, keep on growing. And just like this positivity that you have, we do a Wellness Wednesday once in a while here, and you were one of the first person that I thought of, because you always have these words of wisdom, these thoughts through experience. You just don't sit on a mountain and come up with them. You travel life, and all of a sudden you look back and you go, hey, I learned something here. And I'll try and sum it up. You might not have to go through this for 2 years. I'll say it in 2 sentences.
That's right. Yep.
I'm going to help you out. You're helping out so many people up there in Alaska. Listeners, check him out. Tony Gebhard. Tony, thank you so much for coming on the Blind Abilities. It's been great again.
It's a privilege every single time. It really is. It is such a privilege. I wish everyone well who is listening, and, just wake up every morning and ask yourself, what can I do good today? What can you do good? And the soul will always know what to say in return as far as where that goes for you. So reach out to me. Get connected on various social media platforms. And if you like the album, please purchase or stream wherever you go. So tonygebhard.bandcamp.com/album/guided for the direct link. But if you can't remember that, because I sure as heck had to memorize it for a while, tonygebhard.com. And that's where you can find everything and anything.
All right. Pete sends his love. He couldn't make it today, but he sends his love out to you, Tony.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'll be sure to reach out to him as well. Much love to you too, Pete. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
You gotta brave the elements. You gotta feel a lot of pain just to feel the love. I know you can make it today. Yeah. Who said you were giving it up? Whoa. This time you will overcome.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
limited expectations and the realities
of blind abilities.
The realities of blind abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, Blind Abilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.